Overthinking is not intelligence. It's fear, and I know that sounds harsh, especially if you've been told your whole life that you're smart. Because a lot of overthinkers are smart. They notice patterns other people miss. They can see consequences before they happen. They can predict what might go wrong. But that's the trap. Your brain learned to use intelligence as protection. So it doesn't think to create solutions, it thinks to create safety. And that's why your mind won't stop. Not because you're deep, because you're scared. Scared of making the wrong choice. Scared of being judged. Scared of failing. Scared of regret. So you sit in your head and you rehearse life instead of living it. If you overthink daily, comment ME. No shame. This isn't about being weak. This is about being trapped in a loop that rewards thinking and punishes action. Today, I'll show you exactly what that loop is, why it hijacks smart people, and how to break it in the moment without trying harder. Because you don't beat overthinking with more thinking. You beat it with an interrupt. And then a step. Part 1. Overthinking versus thinking. Let's define the truth. Thinking creates decisions. Overthinking creates circles. Thinking asks, what's the next step? Overthinking asks, what if? Forever. Thinking gets you closer to reality. Overthinking pulls you away from reality. And that's the giveaway. If your mind is active but your life isn't moving, that's not intelligence. That's fear. Overthinking is fear wearing a suit. It looks productive because you're busy in your head, but it's not building anything. It's avoiding exposure because action has risk. Action can fail. Action can be judged. Action can be rejected. Action can embarrass you. Thinking has no risk. Thinking is private. Thinking is safe. So your brain chooses thinking and calls it being responsible. But the cost is brutal. You lose time. You lose sleep. You lose confidence. You lose trust in yourself. And the worst part, overthinking makes you feel like you're doing something so you don't notice you're slowly dying inside. Not physically, mentally, because living in your head is not living. Story 1, the smart but stuck life. Here's what smart but stuck looks like. You have ideas. You have plans. You have potential. You know what you should do. You've watched the videos. You've read the posts. You've taken the notes. And yet, you don't move. Then you start calling yourself lazy, undisciplined, broken. No, you're using thinking as a shield. You're thinking to avoid feeling exposed. Because the moment you do something real, publish the video, send the message, apply for the job, start the project, the world can respond. And the world's response is uncertain. So your brain does what it was trained to do. It tries to remove uncertainty by thinking more. That's the loop. Part 2, why your brain loves overthinking. Here's why overthinking becomes an addiction. Because it gives you fake control. Your brain believes, if I analyze this enough, I'll feel safe. If I find the perfect answer, I can't be hurt. If I prepare for every outcome, I can't be surprised. But life doesn't work like that. You can't think your way into certainty. So what happens? You think more, and you still don't feel safe. So you think more, and now you're exhausted. But even in that exhaustion, there's a reward. Temporary relief. Overthinking gives you a moment where you feel like, okay, at least I'm doing something. At least I'm being careful. At least I'm prepared. That relief is the reward. And the brain learns overthinking equals relief. Action equals threat. So it repeats. And after years of repeating, you get conditioned. That's why telling an overthinker to just stop is useless. Because overthinking is not a decision. It's a habit loop. And loops don't stop from logic. They stop from interruption. So let's expose the loop clearly. Part 3, the overthinking loop. Here's the loop in 5 steps. Step 1, trigger. Something creates uncertainty. A message, a deadline, a decision, a conflict, a risk. Step 2, fear story. Your brain writes a story, not facts, stories. They're mad. I'm going to fail. This will ruin everything. I'll regret this forever. Step 3, mental spin. You start circling the same thoughts. replaying, rewriting, rehearsing, predicting, searching for certainty. Step 4, relief. You feel relief because you feel prepared. Step 5, repeat. Your brain learns spinning works, so it does it again next time faster. That's why overthinking gets worse if you keep obeying it. Now let's make this painfully real with examples. Story 2, we need to talk. You get a message. We need to talk. Trigger. Instantly, your brain creates a horror movie. They're angry. I'm fired. They're leaving. I did something wrong. Fear story. Then the mental spin begins. You reread the message. You check their online status. You draft 10 replies. You replay the last conversation. You ask friends what it might mean. And for a moment, you feel relief. Not because you solved anything, but because you reduced uncertainty. Then time passes. And when the conversation actually happens, half the things you feared weren't even real. But your brain doesn't learn that because it got rewarded by relief. So it repeats next time. Story 3, the perfect decision prison. Another common spiral. You have to choose something. A job, a relationship, a move, a project. Your brain says, this decision is permanent. If I choose wrong, I'll ruin my life. So you freeze. You research endlessly. You ask everyone. You list pros and cons until the page looks like a math exam. But you still don't choose. And the longer you wait, the more pressure builds. Then you choose the worst option. You choose nothing. That's how smart people lose years. Not because they don't know what to do, because they require certainty before movement. And certainty is impossible. So they stay stuck. Part 4. The 3 masks of overthinking. Overthinking usually shows up as one of these masks. Mask 1. Decision paralysis. I need the perfect choice. Mask 2. Reassurance loop. Tell me I'm okay. Tell me it'll work. Mask 3. Perfection planning. I'll start when I'm ready. Different masks. Same root. Fear of being wrong. Fear of being judged. Fear of pain. So the fix isn't think better. The fix is train courage. And courage starts small. Part 5, the 1-0. Second fear interrupt. Now the practical part. Here's the tool you use the moment you catch yourself spiraling. It takes about 10 seconds. 3 steps. 1. Name it. 2. Long exhale. 3. Next small action. Step 1. Name it. 2 seconds. Say this. This is fear, not thinking. Not, I'm broken. Not, I'm stupid. Just fear. Why this works. Naming creates distance. You stop being the storm. You become the observer. And the observer can choose. Step 2. Long exhale. 3 seconds. Breathe in normally. Then exhale longer than you inhale. In for 2. Out for 4. Do it once. Twice if you can. Long exhale tells the nervous system, safe. Your body can't stay in panic when you breathe like that. This is physiology, not motivation. Step 3, next small action, 5 seconds. Now ask one question. What's the next small action? Not the perfect solution, not the entire plan, just the next step. Examples: overthinking a message, open notes, and write 1 draft reply. Don't send yet. Overthinking a project, open the file, name the first task, do 5 minutes. Overthinking a decision, choose 1 small test, 1 experiment, not a life sentence. Overthinking at night, write 1 sentence, I'm afraid of, then phone down. Lights off. Overthinking collapses when action begins, because action is reality, and reality is where you build confidence, not in your head. Story 4, how this feels in real life. The first time you do this interrupt, your brain will resist. It will scream, no, we need to think more. This is important. Don't rush. That's fear begging for control. But you're not rushing. You're moving. And movement is what rewires the brain. Every time you interrupt and take 1 small step, you teach your nervous system, I can handle uncertainty. I can move without certainty. I can survive discomfort. That's the muscle you're building, not discipline. Courage, part 6. 2 questions that keep you out of the spiral. After the interrupt, use these 2 questions to keep your brain from crawling back. Question 1. Can I control this today? If no, drop it for today, not forever. Just today. Sigh. I can't control this today. I'm releasing it. If yes, do one tiny step. Question 2. Do I need certainty or courage? Most of the time, what you call more thinking is actually you asking for certainty. But certainty is a myth. Courage is real. So choose courage. 1 small action. Part 7. Common mistakes. 3 mistakes overthinkers make when trying to stop. Mistake has sown. Waiting for anxiety to disappear before acting. No. Anxiety often disappears after you act. Mistake #2. Thinking the goal is 0. Overthinking, the goal is not 0 thoughts. The goal is control over your response. Mistake #3. Using the interrupt as a comfort ritual. Some people do the breathing, then go back to avoidance. That turns the tool into another escape. The tool is not for comfort. The tool is for movement. Reset action, always. Part 8, 7-day challenge. Here's your challenge. 7 days. Every time you catch the spiral. 1. This is fear, not thinking. 2. Long exhale. 3. 1 small action. Day 1-2. Just catch it and name it. Day 3-4. Interrupt faster. Day 5-7. Interrupt plus action becomes automatic. Then ask yourself, did my mind get quieter? Or better, did my mind stop controlling me? Because overthinking might not disappear, but it will lose power, and that's freedom. Overthinking is not intelligence. It's fear. You don't beat fear by thinking more. You beat fear by moving small every day. So the next time your mind starts spinning, remember, you don't need the perfect answer. You need the next small step. If you want the next video, how to stop nighttime spirals, comment next. And if this hit you hard, share it with the person who's smart on the outside and exhausted on the inside.